What's better for hi-hat, open hand or overhand? We're comparing both techniques coming up. Hi, my name is Kevin Zahner, and if this is your first time on Rhythm Notes, please subscribe so we can help you level up your drumming today. And if you haven't heard about Rhythm Insider, our monthly newsletter, go to rhythminsider.com/subscribe to receive lesson PDFs for the YouTube videos and links to related articles, among other benefits. Subscribe today and you get a free gift. So what is open-handed technique? Open-handed technique is a technique used by many of my favorite drummers, including Carter Beauford, Sput, Simon Phillips, just to name a few. It's when you don't cross your arms to play hi-hat. You keep your left hand on hi-hat and play the snare drum with your right hand. Or you might play like Harry Meary and play your right hand on the hi-hat on the right side and snare with your left hand. Whatever you do, the idea is that you're not crossing your arms in any way to play the instruments. It's also beneficial to play other drums on the left side or the right side by keeping your arms open, because they're not going to be tripping over each other. You'll learn about these ideas in books like The New Breed by Gary Chester, where you're using drum set symmetry to kind of navigate the drums. You'll see drummers like Billy Cobham really take this stuff to the next level by sorting out his toms to facilitate movement around the drums with an open-handed style of playing. It wasn't until college that I really started to develop an open-hand technique on hi-hat, but I still play overhand quite often. The question still remains, what's the best technique, overhand or open hand? The best technique depends on the goals of the drummer, and technique is supposed to just make it easy to move around the drum set, so it really depends on what you want to do with your instrument. Do you want to move freely and creatively around the drum set, or do you want to play in a way that fits the more common approach? Both are great, and you can make great work out of either technique. It really comes down to whether you think one technique is limiting you for one reason or another. Let us know in the comments below whether you play open hand or overhand, and did you develop this over time, or was it something that you developed from the beginning? Some people have some really interesting stories about their technique from the beginning or things that they shifted to later on. I mean, technically, we all kind of play open hand at one point or another. If you play overhand on the hi-hat and your hi-hat is set up in a conventional way, your ride cymbal is also set up on the right. So when you're playing ride, you're playing open hand, and you experience the benefit of being able to move around the toms more freely when you're playing the ride, or hit the crash cymbals or drums over here without your hands kind of crossing one another and getting each other's way. If you haven't developed an open hand hi-hat technique and you want some exercises, I have a few you can try right now. The first one is to just play a groove, whether simple or more complicated, and increase the tempo or the complexity until you find a coordination issue. Once you find that point where you're having a problem, dial it in and repeat that tempo or that complexity of the groove over and over until you really settle into it. If you're getting value out of this video, hit that like button and please share it with someone who you think will also get value out of it. Listen to what you're playing when you're doing this. Really take it in. That'll help your brain accept that these are the hands making those sounds now, and relax, relax, relax. I can't say that enough. Have good posture, have good technique, relax your hands, and really make sure that your left hand is still doing great work with those accents versus the unaccented notes. Don't let that technique flop all over the place because it's a weak hand. If you do have a weak hand, strengthen it. Strengthen it on the pad. Get that hand strong. Start all your warm-up exercises with your left hand versus your right. If you want some drum beats to practice this open-handed hi-hat technique, I'll put a link to an article in the description below. If you're feeling impatient with this and you want to get to the funk a little bit faster, like play paradiddles. Paradiddles, your hands are already trained to play paradiddles whether you're starting with your right or your left. And so just play paradiddles for the groove with your left hand lead. So it's hi-hat accent, then snare drum accent, kick on 1 and 3, and you have a backbeat kind of paradiddle groove. Play that faster, change up the combinations. You want to get crazy, open up stick control, do different sticking combinations, and you're going to open up a whole world for you. Just make sure you're starting a lot of stuff on your left hand so that you get that left hand lead and train your left hand to kind of drive the boat a little bit. But what's really cool about this is once you get that down and get it strong, your left hand or your right hand can drive the boat, and you're, again, less restricted to what your hands can or can't do, and the musical ideas that'll come out from that are going to take you to another level with your drumming. So the third exercise is to just take a book like The New Breed, or there's reading exercises in Ted Reed's Syncopation. Most drummers have that. And read the line on the kick drum, and then play snare on 2 and 4, and a hi-hat system like just 8th notes with accents on the downbeats, accents on the upbeats. You can add 16th notes in there, you can add slurps, you can change that hi-hat pattern in different ways. The New Breed has a whole bunch of systems for hi-hat and snare that you could do with those kick drum readings. You could even change up the kick drum reading to like kick drum on the long notes, short notes on the snare drum, and keep whatever hi-hat system that you're playing. So there's different ways you can do it, but the idea is to, instead of doing it with your right hand, just do it with your left hand. And number 4, this last tip that I have for you is just play a gig open-handed. If you have a simple gig or a simple song to play, maybe it's a cover gig or maybe it's just a real simple beat, play it open-handed. Get comfortable, relax into it, and get used to just playing that way. An open-handed style has been a real inspiration for new creativity, playing different instruments around the drum set and kind of keeping it going, kind of like how Terry Bozzio plays his monster kit. Not that I'm comparing myself to Terry Bozzio, but Terry Bozzio's, an inspiration to play that open style because you can access so much more around the kit. He's like an octopus. I mean, he's like a whole other thing. That's talk for another video if you want to start talking about Terry Bozzio, but you get the point. After developing an open-handed technique on hi-hat, I've come to enjoy certain styles more than others. Like, for example, if I play a cha-cha and I want to play my cha-cha bell, which is usually on my hi-hat stand, I can still play the widow part with my right hand and the conga tones on the rack tom and still keep that cowbell going. Same thing if I'm playing maybe a cumbia beat or other Latin beats. It just works really well to have the percussion on the left side. I usually have percussion on my right side as well, but it's just really focused and just works for some reason for the way I think about it and relax into it to have the percussion on my left side near the hi-hat and just do that work over there. These days I usually do play with a hi-hat on my right or a closed sort of stack or something like that. Because again, it opens up more doors to kind of play open style over there, put the two hats together, the stacks, whatever you're using, and to really get some interesting sounds doing that. So it's up to you. Try both techniques and figure out which one is best for your drumming and music making goals. If you like this video and you want to watch more, check out this one suggested to you by YouTube and check out this one suggested to you by Rhythm Notes. Please subscribe so we can help you level up your drumming today, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.